He was king at the age of 11, and there was a great uncle of his who was the regent. And then my grandfather, his father, was assassinated in Marseille in 1934. And what happened is the Germans came in, and the government moved first to Greece, then to Palestine, what was Palestine then, Egypt, and eventually London. And there were many governments in exile in London. And my father met my mother here in London. And the communists took over at the end of the Second World War, and he became a sort of refugee, and he was very homesick. And he would travel between the United Kingdom and Europe, and of course the United States. And he became quite ill. I think it was due to homesickness, the desire to go home, and died in Denver, Colorado. And the diaspora decided, and they took it in their hands, I think there was influence from Belgrade, from the regime in Belgrade, that he should be buried in Libertyville, Illinois. Now there's a Serbian monastery there, it's a very pretty area, and there are many compatriots buried there. It's quite a traditional place. So that happened in October 1970. And then he remained there, but the desire was always that he would go home. And with the new government, this was achieved thanks to the government creating a commission for the reburial of the royal family who died during the years of communism. And I am on the commission with the president and the prime minister. We moved to Belgrade in 2001. And not too long after that, maybe 2 years, 3 years, I started working on this project. But it was rather difficult because during those communist years, there was a lot of interference from our intelligence agency who worked on the principle rule and divide. So as much as I tried, as much as they played games. There was even injunctions and all sorts of things using American law. Eventually, things calmed down, and the government in Belgrade decided, that's it, you've got our full support, and we will make it happen. So it happened very quickly. In 72 hours, we completed the move, and the Prime Minister came, members of the government, and the State Honor Guard, and now, whilst we're talking, he's in the chapel of the Royal Palace. His dream was to be home with his people. He loved his country, and he was torn away at a very young age. He was not quite 18 when he was torn away, even though he became a head of state. So his dream came true now, but years after, 42 years after his death, which is quite tragic. So it meant a lot to me and members of my family too. The people were fascinated by this because a lot of the history was twisted, and there were a lot of extraordinary stories that happened. And they were amazed to learn more about the history because they believed that we were enemies of the state, that we stole everything, which was absolutely untrue. And they're happy to see that now history is coming back, the truth is coming, and tradition is returning. So the turnout was enormous, and the media interest was spectacular.